So I wanted to talk about this myth that women are more connected to the divine or to God, to consciousness because of their physical chemistry, because of their womb, because of all these things, and what this implies. Because to me, this is a very, difficult thing that if we're going to preach this idea over and over and over again, is it really separating us from these patriarchal norms of gender? From these norms that, for a lot of cases, actually came from Christianity, that actually came from religion, of saying what women do, what men do, and that we're supposed to abide by these norms. And if we don't, we're going to risk the fact of being on the margins of society, of not being accepted, of not being seen, of not being acknowledged. That women are supposed to stay at home, that they're going to be in the kitchen, that they're nurturing their kids, that they're doing this, that the men provide that stability, that they provide the safety, that they provide all these things for their family. And as we continue to shift away from religion, as we move into a more secular society, spirituality has begun to kind of try to wedge its way in to be like, whoa, 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 hold on. We can't go completely secular because what about this? What about that? And this is where it upholds a lot of these exact same norms that we see going on within religion. And sure, yes, things have changed over 2,000 years, that these gender norms slowly shift. But there still is this distinct difference. And when we have a very genderized notion of what people are supposed to do, it restricts their ability to do what they want to do what gives them meaning, to do what gives them purpose, because they have to either align with these norms or they have to risk being marginalized. And, this whole idea that women are more connected to the divine, there's no research around this. What there is this social and cultural pattern idea that because women are more intuitive, because women are more connected to their feelings, because women are more connected to these things, we've extrapolated that. We've now taken that idea and said that all women are like this, that all women are more connected than men, and that it's women's job to be the high priestess, that it's women's job to channel, it's women's jobs to do all these things, and it's men's job to do this. But again, that doesn't hold up within the universal laws of consciousness, right? Because everyone has a different experience with it, that everyone, regardless of their sex or gender, is able to tap into these things. But when we tell people repeatedly over and over and over again that men can't do this, that this isn't a space for men, that this is for women only, that men need to do something else, you're eliminating the possibility of people just being able to exist, of people being able to do what gives them passion, what gives them purpose, what gives them meaning. Because again, this whole idea of sex and gender, if it doesn't hold up within all realms of consciousness, if this is not something that we can find on every single level of it, then it's not a universal truth. That though it may be true for our world right now, right? Though that it's more likely to find women who are intuitive, because it is. That there is this gender norm for men to be a bit more closed off to their emotions, for men to not be able to express these things, for men not to have those intuitive abilities, that is a social norm, right? That is something that we see in many different cultures all over the world. But is it found in every single culture? Is it found in every single woman and every single man? And the answer is no. It doesn't hold up like that, because it's not something that all men are born like that. We're going all the way back now to this whole discourse of women are from Venus and men are from Mars. We're all consciousness itself. We're all direct experiences and representations of consciousness itself embodied in a physical presence. And these physical vessels have differences, but how they connect to consciousness itself is not determinant on the physical vessel that you use. You can even think of some of the most sought after, some of the most revered spiritual, religious figures in our time, in recorded history, and Jesus and Buddha, all these men that were channeling this divine, that were channeling God, channeling whatever you want to call it. But why was it men and not women? Because it doesn't necessarily depend solely on gender. It doesn't solely depend on someone's sex. That these are abilities anybody can have. And that when we exclude this, you have to think too, what about future generations? Do we not want more and more men to begin to feel, to begin to tap into their own intuitive abilities, to begin to start understanding, to start interpreting, to start working with consciousness itself, to heal themselves? Or do we just want to restrict that and be like, no, you need to continue to close off? Because again, there's repercussions for the things that we do, for the things that we say, that there's unintended consequences. So when we do something like this, are we truly creating a world with change? Are we truly escaping the patriarchy? Are we truly creating what people call this new earth? Or are we just perpetuating the same thing over and over again? Are we just falling in to the exact same traps that religion has provided us for so long, right? These exact notions of what a man is expected to do, of what a woman is expected to do. So if we close off the possibility, we close it off for everybody. And this completely ignores, how some people don't align with the cisgender, two-gendered system. So now what about for those individuals? What about for the trans community? How do they fit in with this very strict notion of two genders? And as soon as we have that outlier, again, that outlier shows us that it's not a universal law. That within social research, within the cultural and social world that we're in, outliers are fine, outliers happen. There are things that where it's like, well, there was that one experience, but it doesn't reflect the general population, that I can predict more than likely this is going to happen. I can predict that more than likely more women than men are going to be connected to their intuitive abilities, that they're going to be connected to consciousness itself. But I can't predict that with 100% certainty. And if I can't predict that with 100% certainty, then that doesn't hold up within the structural laws of consciousness, of what creates the universe, of what makes everything, makes them a thing. That structure, that consciousness abides by to create cohesion, adheres to all forms of consciousness. So this is where, when we have that contradiction, when there is something that doesn't hold up, and we begin to try to embody that as a truth, we're marginalizing others. We're restricting others in their attempts to simply be. And that goes against the laws of oneness. That goes against the ability to begin to give people that freedom, that sovereignty, that ability to choose how they want to work with it, regardless of their sex or gender. So this is where I think it's very, very important that we really critically examine these notions of gender, these notions of sex, and how they continue to be applied into a space in where we're supposed to be freer of that, where we're supposed to be highly evolved, where we're supposed to reach some ascension or reach some higher plane of existence. But yet we're still maintaining the same structures that are keeping us down here.